Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, 12 p.m., 12:15, and all the classes that I do, I usually do for Ilui Neshama of my father, Sami Shmuel ben Mercedes, and he's always in my heart, and I remember him. If anyone else wants, we can do also for their Ilui Neshama at a donation. So just to tell you what is the how to listen to the universe when the universe talks to you. We're going to start with that because today I'm going through a lot of changes. I'm in between houses, and I thought that, I created those classes repetitively every Monday. And I thought that if I'm not going to post the link on time, then nobody's going to show up. And then someone came and knocked on my door and asked for the class. And I was like, okay, this is a sign mishamayim, and this is not something that cannot go, you cannot ignore. So that's, when you have shlichim like that coming to your life, you have to really always be in a yes mode. Always be in a yes mode and never say no, because with the yes, there's such a big bracha that can affect people's life and soul. And I'm so up for the challenge, and I thank you. And I have Carol here with me today. And this is a completely inspirational, intuitive class. I didn't prepare for it. I wasn't in a mood to do that class. I was debating myself. And I guess if you start something, you have to follow through. And this is my most shiur lesson that I got for this week, this month, or this year.
Oh, wow.
So I'm taking on that. The classes in general, and I'm saying that to everyone who is not with us today, because a lot of people know of my work, but they don't really know what I do. So I'm going to give you a little bit overview today, so you can get a little bit deeper of, my services, and then we're going to go into an example of it. And it requires some work just because by allowing us to be present, because being present in the moment is something that we are usually in a dog that is trying to catch after his tail. We always running after time. So we either live in the past or we live in the future, but it's very hard for us to live in the present moment. Thank God we have Shabbat. And that's really a super big example for us to live in the moment the most we can. But really bringing kavanah to living in the moment and doing something to feed myself, to invest in myself, to take the time to nourish myself with studies, requires a lot of self-awareness. How to get more in tune with my consciousness. And this is what we study here. How to get more in tune with my consciousness. And I have many tools that help us study it. One of them is called Yamima. It's the Yamima method. Yamima was Mekubelet al Mekubalim. She came from Morocco, and she came to Israel when she was 20. And she started being a teacher, and she studied psychology. And with the time, she had a lot of people coming to her. And she became, with time also, the more she developed into it, she became a healer. And even the big tzaddikim recognized her, even the rabbi knew of her. And it came to a point that she has thousands of followers in Israel. And people were coming to her for healing treatments. And she was giving shiurim in her, here we have somebody joining us. That's awesome. So she was giving shiurim in her, she started in, hold on, let me just, okay. She started as in her house, and then step by step, she went to opening center, and And let me just mute.
I love like
Sorry.
you. It's like you're describing yourself, like when you tell me, like, you know.
I know. I
Yeah.
hope so.
Yeah.
That's what
Right.
comes to you right now?
Right. Like you're
Wow.
talking like her, but also you know. Maybe you take example from her because you're also like her in a way.
So Yemima started small in her house and she opened up her center that's called Mayan, and thousands of people were there. And she was never prepared. She always channeled the information from above. Okay, she was getting that knowledge, that wisdom. And what happened is that she knew and she felt the energy in the room, so she knew what to say to each and every woman. She had a sense of, what they need at the same moment. And what happened is that her students start writing down by notes what she was saying, so it became a Torah shebe'al peh. Okay, and that's how I study myself. I start from the notes of a student, and it came like that. But for your surprise, I never heard of her until 2 years ago in Corona.
Wow.
And the way she came into my life is that because, and that will reinforce your point, is that I had a spiritual awakening during Corona, like lots of other people, I guess, because everybody became very spiritual lately. And I start sharing my thoughts online. And people from Israel approached me. They told me, Liat, you talk like Yemima. And I'm like, who is Yemima? So I start inquiring about her. And the more I read, the more I say, like, it's like I wrote it. I feel the same. Like, we really connected. Me too. So on a soul level, and then I look into her origin. And
I still feel it.
And she was Moroccan, and I'm Moroccan. And then I spoke to a channeler that I know, and she told me that we come from the same eshkol of neshamot.
Like the root of soul?
Yes, the root of soul is the same. So since I know that, I'm so connected to her as a tzaddiket. And I know that she's bringing a lot of blessing into my life. And I'm so appreciative of her study. And I went and I did a certificate, a moderator instructor in her studies, so I can formally be able to pass it forward. Diana, I'm so happy you're with us. Join us. And if you have any question, we'll leave it to the end, okay? And but the thing is that I have my master in psychology. So I'm bringing a lot of eclectic studies, and I also study Tantra. Tantra, not on a sex level, because it's very associated with sex, more on an intimate level.
Right.
In ways that how we can be more intimate with ourselves, how we can be present, how we can be authentic. And when we learn how to do that with ourselves, then it starts showing up in our life, and we can be more authentic or intimate with the people in front of us. And we're more loving, we're more receptive, we're more sublimate, we're doing some sort of sublimation into our thoughts, talks, מעשה, דיבור, והמידות שלנו גם. So it really affects our life in the way that we are behaving, because the study and understanding all that is actually bringing us to be so much more present, that when we are in a very stressful situation, we learn how to disassociate ourselves. We get the skills of being able to observe and not react, but be in a mode of observation and consciousness. And then when I'm catching myself, and I'm not acting as an animal, if frustrating or jealousy or upset, or if it's my kid that comes and upset me and I'm like lashing at him. So I'm more holding myself, because I know that it's him, it's not me. I don't want to react and I'm like, it's like pausing myself, like it's like a movie that is ongoing, and I'm like pausing myself and I'm observing. So being observant making me more conscious, observant. You see, observing the Shabbat is also making me more aware, more, able to create the dots between and differ between the weekdays and the week and the Shabbat as a holy. So when I'm in a consciousness mode like that, I'm much more holy. I'm able to really come as a person who is much more mindfulness and more conscious and more aware of his behavior and taking more responsibility, because I'm less reactive. So, and that's what differ between us and the animals, basically, right? So we have Yamima, we have Tantra, we have a lot
Psychology.
of spiritual psychology, because we need to know how to connect to our soul on a cognitive level. And Yamima talked a lot about cognitive thinking. And the more I'm like today, the psychology is taking us around the problem. So what's happening? The problem gets bigger and bigger.
Right.
In spiritual psychology, what you do is you look at the problem from above, and then you're actually not inside the problem. You're able to not give it all this drama and all the story and all the meaning, okay, that is making your thoughts or your body that is affecting it in a way that sometimes create even blockages, okay? Because the more our thoughts are obscure and they're not clear, the more we run by our thoughts, negative thoughts, the more it creates drama in our life or anxiety or fear. The less we believe, the less we trust ourselves, first of all, and obviously God, Hashem. And the more we trust, the more we find the Chelkika Eloi inside of us, yes, the more we are connected to ourselves in self-love and acceptance, so the more we can actually connect above.
Exactly, it's both. If you're connected to yourself, you're connected to Hashem.
Exactly. So now how we do that? We do it bizman emet, okay? Because if we don't do it bizman emet, then when are we going to do it? You cannot, it's a day by day, it's a minute by minute. It has to be done like, because we came here to do a tikkun, right? We came here. Otherwise, it's much better upstairs, over there. But as much as we hear, everything that is coming our way is basically a message to show us something, to tell us how we should behave, how to teach, to show us how we are reacting to that, so we can be in tune with our thoughts, midot v'kol zeh, and make it better. Because the more we are aware of that, the more we are aware of our tikkun, the more we put awareness into the way we think, talk, and behave. So now, so what I do is really with Yamima is psukim that we read together, and I dictate them. And when we write it down, it's in Hebrew, but I translate it in Zman Emet, B'Zman Emet. So it's super inspiring, and we go into the depth of the pasuk, and together each is giving us the observation from her own eyes, from her own perspective, and that's how we learn from each other. Because you don't think like me, I don't think like you, but together, when we see it from a different point of view, we evolve, because you can help me and serve me from a different way that I'm not aware of, and vice versa. So alimut bechevruta is super empowering, okay? And it's not only for women, it's for men and women, because I think that the women are much more spiritual, obviously, okay? And the I don't think that there's enough classes like that for men. In a way, I sense they're really neglected because they're more like task oriented and less connected to their spirituality. So, hi Shani and hi Avi. I'm so happy you guys are here and you join us. And Avi, I'm so appreciative to have a man in a class. It's not the first time, and and I think that these classes and shiurim can be amazing for men because, in a way, you're able also to more understand the point of view of a woman. And when there is both sides to show that the communication is much more understandable because we are two separate entities. The man is the giver, the woman is the receiver, right? And together we create a whole. And only by kiddushim and kedusha and holiness, really, when a man and woman come together on a monogamy relationship, this is where it's a super sacred space to be together, and this is where the real connection to Hashem is happening. So my mission is to really teach people how to reach a spiritual, so to speak, orgasm, because the connection between a man and a woman is so unique. It's so when you come to it with a perspective like that, with a lot of responsibility, with a lot of kavod, with a lot of care, you know, then, and it's like touching it with gloves, then it's more gentle. You approach it in a much more loving, careful way instead of throwing at each other, you know. For those people who have a relationship, I myself, I'm divorced. I've been through a lot in my life, in my relationship, that I didn't know how to handle, and that's why I had to break my family. Today, retrospect, I study so much. I have so many skills about relationship that I just want to share it with other couples for Shlom Bait, so they can actually meet each other and appreciate what they have and coming into kedusha with each other, because it's זה כל המהות. This is all the purpose. התיקון שלנו בעצם מתחיל, is starting with the חטא of אדם וחווה בגן עדן. And we can live in this lifetime. We can be in a moment of creation every moment if we know how to see it consciously this way. So this is super, different than what you used to hear in other places, but it's super authentic and open-minded, and I'm, or maybe not different, maybe other people talk about it, but maybe in another way. So the thing with that study and why it's called the heart wisdom method, because I name it like that because it was super. The more I study in my life, the more I recognize and I understood that to study for your mind is not enough, because we all know everything anyway. Right. We all overwhelmed by so much knowledge and so much tactics and methods and all. We have tons of knowledge out there. The thing is like this knowledge, if it's not connected to your heart, doesn't worth anything. Because the moment your heart feels something, then it goes up to your mind, and then the connection is bringing you to a space of izun, of diuk. Izun is balance. Diuk is precise, to be more precise with your life, to be more in tune with what's going on with you, what you want in your life, how you want to create, where you want to lead yourself. Okay, so the more you're in tune and you listen to your heart and you don't let the doubts and other people get into your private space, and you recognize your private space, first of all, as holy, b'kedusha, okay? So the more, first of all, the more you're protected, because you protect yourself from the evil eye, and you only return it with good eye. So it's a win-win for everyone. And when you act like that, your frequency changes, and then the light is able to penetrate and come in more and more, and that's what makes you much more alive. And this is when you become spiritual, when you're connecting to the light, because spirituality is not only doing one thing over the other. It's feeling it. It's feeling it from your liba, from your heart, right. Okay? When you feel it, when you sense it in all of your senses, then it radiates, and it does that ripple effect that can affect other people around you. It takes only one person to change a whole world, right? Why? Because if that person is actually radiating it, it's contagious, right? People want to touch it, they want to feel it, they want to get into that vibe, they want to go into that frequency. So that's why achdut is so important, but we have to always remember that התיקון הכללי start first with תיקון אישי. למה תיקון אישי? Because I'm responsible for my action. I'm responsible to radiate from within. I cannot have somebody else radiate for me. When I'm radiating and you radiate and he radiate and we all hold together, think about that radiation that multiply itself. So as long as we are responsible for our own tikkun, and we take responsibility for our own life, and we are conscious about every step in the way, then זה ימי משיח, אמיתיים אבל, the real thing, because it's super spiritual, it's a movement, and it's for everyone. It's for everyone to adopt it into its life or her life, and it's a matter of practicing also, and of learning, because without learning, without coming to inspirational classes, without going that in depth into the material, it's not going to come just like that. Okay, you have to want it. You have to have a kavanah for it. You have to put your mind into it. It's like doing a diet. Okay, if you want to work on your body, you have to go to the gym. You have to work out. Same on your consciousness. If you want to work on your consciousness, you want to become a more spiritual human being, you go to a class and you work on that, and you give it time, and it's a muscle. It's a muscle that with the time gets stronger and stronger and stronger, as much as our belief system, and that's how we become more bal tshuva, emunah, tshuva לשוב אליי. קבלה, מה זה קבלה? זה לקבל את אלוהים. When I accept myself, I can accept God, and I can also love myself, and then ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Only when I love myself from within, I can start loving another person. Otherwise, it's not real. So it's all about how to really be authentic and loving from within, so we can radiate it. And I'm just gonna do something very last moment. Let's go into maybe one of the pasuk of Yemima. Don't mind, I'm gonna just open randomly something, and I have tons of psukim. So I just need to choose one. And I believe that whatever we're going to choose is going to be the right one for us. Okay? So, החלק האגוזי, ואני מכתיבה, I'm dictating, you guys can write down, and I'm going to write it with you. And at the end, we're going to explore more together about it. Okay? אז החלק האגוזי. החלק האגוזי is the part of a nut. A nut is usually strong. So you guys can imagine what it is about, or try to imagine. Let's go deeper. I'm going to say it first in Hebrew, and then I'm going to repeat it in English. So you guys can write it down in whatever language is better for you, okay? So, כשאת מקבלת את עצמך, when you receive yourself, תוכלי, you can, point. ואז, and then, גם דרך חלקים אחרים, through other portions, להיות נמצאת מרגישה. You can become more מרגישה is
To feel?
more aware of your feeling. נקודה. חשה בתחושת הקיום. Wow, it's exactly what I just talked about. Chasha is feeling the sensation of the existence. שהיא חזקה, that is super strong, ולא דומה לתחושת החסר, and is not similar to the feeling of missing, שבו את נמצאת היום, that you are in it today. אלא תחושת הקיום תמלא אותך רגש. Therefore, the sensation of your existence will fill you emotions. שאין בו רגשות משניים, that doesn't have second emotions, בסתירתם. בסתירתם, that means in their contradictionary, in contradiction. In contradiction, כמו בזמן העיכוב, like in times of עיכוב זה לעכב משהו, עיכוב it's to what I just did, like it's not to, it's to stop something, like in this time of to oppose. What is to oppose? Not oppose,
to go
no.
Against something?
No, עיכוב it's to stop, it's to pause.
To pause.
בזמן העיכוב, עיכוב is more of I want to have the right
Put
word.
it in. Put it in.
No, it's to put on hold.
To put on hold.
Like in these times of putting on hold, of holding on, because כי בסתירתם שברה התנגשותם ולא זרימתם. Because of in their contradiction, it breaks the התנגשות זה
Yeah, the inertia.
it breaks the flow. It breaks the flow. We're going to read it again after. בעוד כשיש פתיחות התחדשות, in oppose to when there is openness or התחדשות זה חדש or renewal. There is pain, flow of כוח הנפש, the mental health that is not stopping anything secondary to existence. Okay, so that was a little example, but that was super correlating to what we just spoke, and that you saw.
Exactly.
That was, and that's how it happens usually.
Right. It's related to something you're going through.
It's always related to. We just spoke about it.
Right. Even before the class
when we started.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna read it again. And sometimes it might make not sense, but she's saying, Yemima, that even in a misunderstanding, it's like a full potential of new understandings. So even if you don't understand something, be happy about it, because that means that
it's going to give birth to something.
Exactly. It's a potential moment or situation that can elevate you, because miklum yotze hakol. So when you receive yourself, you can. And then through other portion, you can become more aware of your feelings. Feeling the sensations of the existence that is super strong and is not similar to the feeling of missing that you're in it today. Wow. Therefore, the sensation of your existence will fill your emotions. The dozen-second emotions in contradiction, like in times of holding on, because of their contradiction, it breaks the flow. In opposed to when there is an openness or renewal, there is pain flow of the mental head that is not stopping anything secondary to existence. So in short, what she's saying is that even if there is pain, even if there is lack, or you're missing something, through going to the pain and being open about it, even if you're feeling something that is missing inside of you, okay, it's enough for you to connect to the feeling of existence, to actually bring yourself into a mode of renewal. So what it means is that your emotional, mental health, by understanding that, you become more resilient. You become more in tune. You become more stronger in face of reality. So because we all go through crisis, we all experience with all the etzev, the pain into it, people that we love in our life. I know you lost your husband, I lost my father. We go through so much loss, so much pain, that she says that the real healing at the end of the day is through connecting to our existence, to ourself, to our own. And by doing that, it's being more in tune with who you are. And the stronger you are, the stronger you connect, the more you can like face your challenges, accept them, and go forward, or be more present. Okay, and also understand, this is my own interpretation already, but saying like, I'm here to pass through it. The pain is there, it's going to go with me, but I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to go through my healing journey as well, along with the crisis. Would you like to share?
Yeah, what I thought is like by not feeling your emotions, it's like a form of self-rejection because
Yes.
your emotions are a part of you, and by not taking your time to look at them, you're kind of ignoring yourself.
Yes.
So if you take time to notice yourself, you empower yourself because it's part of you.
And that's also connecting to your heart. Because when you feel your emotions through your heart, then you understand in your mind what's going on. But when you suppress them, it's impossible. It's impossible. So then that means that you reject. By
Right.
suppressing, you're
Yeah.
rejecting.
Exactly. I never made a connection like that. So simply you're not feeling your emotions, but it's a rejection.
It's a rejection of
Yeah.
self.
Yes.
The more you embrace yourself with the pain,
Exactly.
with the challenge, with all these crises, you embrace, you're like, bring it on. I'm here to do my tikkun. It's part of my journey. It's already maktub. I chose it. It's already written. I'm embracing it. But you want to bring me from up to down? I'll be there. I'll take it on. This is my journey. I chose it. I'm responsible. By only putting my state of mind and not playing the victim, but facing life. Facing life means facing myself. So that was like 4 sentences, right? But it's like full of knowledge and wisdom, and we can go on and on and on. So that was a little bit of example and a taste of Yamima. Yesterday, I started a series of 3 Sundays. Yesterday, the first one happened. It was how to do slicha, okay, how to forgive. And that was so emotional. We were there, many women, like dancing and laughing and crying, and it was super emotional, but we study a lot. The next week, Sunday, is going to be at the beach. We're going to do tashlich together. So it's all languages. You can come and feel and register for it. It's going to take a lot of layers out of what we're holding on. And the week after, it's going to be creating. So we're actually going to sit down and do a vision board. I'm going to know where we want to manifest for the new year, for Rosh Hashanah, and to visualize and create exactly what we want to attract for our life, and be more in a creation mode and less in a reactive mode. So you can follow me on Instagram, on YouTube, and look at the new website that my brother did for me. It's beautiful. It's called Euphoria State of Mind. You can also listen to my podcast on Spotify. Yes. So you can connect and get free wisdom as much as you want. And you can also join our classes. Every Monday at 12 p.m. is the one in English. Dropping off in the first class is always for free. Then it's $36. And it's happening every week. So 4 classes is 180 for the month, or 36 for the class. And on Tuesday night at 8:30 and Thursday morning at 10 a.m., we have them in Hebrew. So you're welcome. And that's it. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay,
Very
so
nice.
hold on. I'm just gonna unmute the rest. So Diana and Shani, would you like to say anything? So anyway, I thank you, Carol, for this opportunity to teach today, because I didn't plan on, and you were my real shlicha today, and showing me what it is to sticking to the plan, how important it is when you commit to something to stick to it and not waive yourself. Waiving your plans is waiving yourself. So I'm taking on that challenge super serious now, even more than ever. And we had you and other 3 people here, and me 5. So that's a Baruch Hashem, a good impact already. So have a good day, everyone. Diana, I hope to talk to you in private.